Okay. Um, so jumping into this today, so the plan from last time was I want to click the name of the weapon, armor, or accessory and have it changed to that page in the iframe. Uh, Pretty straightforward, will not take very long. So the first step, as I move a water bottle, is to go to the Terraria wiki and get the base link for Terraria wiki. So I think that this is the base link. So if I just click on like weapons, go to tin short sword. So I want this as the base wiki. Fantastic. So from there, uh, let's just set this at let's set this as an A tag for screen reader purposes for accessibility. So what I want to do, class items link, table link, table label. So let's start with document.query select. Actually, I don't need this. So what'll happen is, so at click of this dot native to prevent default, load content. Is that gonna work? Native is deprecated. Vue.native deprecated. Okay, well I'll just prevent default then. That's fine. So let's do that. Let's do. Oops. Methods. What am I doing? Load content. Oops. So I want to prevent default, and I don't want inner text. So the way I want this to work is I want to target document query selector content web target href. So now if I do maybe like this and slash oh right. So I want it to actually be, so let name inner target inner text dot to lower case. No. It's just replace space with underscore. Oops. Okay. Let's try this. Log name. So if I click on the Finch's staff, Finch underscore staff. Great. Okay. So So let's go ahead and just real quick size this up to like that, and then that, just to be able to see. So if I click on Finch Staff, it loads the Finch Staff. If I click on Thorndie, nothing loads. Durandale. Oh, I thought it was, that was an I. So either way, like if I click Terra Prisma, that'll load. Snapthorn, that loads. Imp Staff, that loads. So let's change the name of this really quick. Weapons, Thorndale. There it is. It should be the sword that stretches out. Yep. Perfect. Okay, easy. So, pretty simple. So, actually move this. Let's see. So what would be next? So next would be, I gotta move something really quick. Okay, so next is the filters. So pretty easy. I think all I want to do is just maybe I just display none of them for now. So filter content event, filter content. Let's see. Content dash dash label. Label content label. I mean, this should just work right away. So if I click armor, yep. Okay. And then I want an all filter. All. Filter content all. And this should just auto do it again. Filter content all. Yep. Display table group. So accessories all. Weapons. Yep. Great. So I'll just leave that for now. Eventually, I'll convert it into using a Vue animation, but just for now, just to make sure that it all works. Okay, great. So I think that's actually it for current function. Okay. So current functionality for basics are done. So now I think I move into the more complex stuff. So in this case, it'll be localhost. So when clicking on a checkbox, so click save choice. Okay, so save choice. This is exactly it. So basically, it targets the inner text of the the word. So actually, next sibling. Yeah. So it targets the inner text of the. This is unnecessary. So I actually think target ID. Let me cut all of this out for now. And log item. So if I click this, ID is not defined. Okay. Let's do it like this. Item. Okay, so I'm just gonna let it do this again, except I don't need stage. ID. I don't think this is necessary. I think this is just like wrong. But we'll see. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's console log item. Let's start there. Click on Finch staff. I changed the wrong thing, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Item. So let's just do this. There. So hopefully when I click Finch, click this, it gives me the yep, Finch staff ID 1. Okay. So let's do these as like weapon 1, weapon 2, weapon 3, weapon 4, weapon 5. I click on this. Weapon 1, Finch staff. Okay. So now what I want to do is do the saving to localhost. So let's see what it thinks. Let choice parse local storage get item if choice includes. Okay, so get the clicked item. Let's start there. So don't need current root because it should already be set up. So this .route is already a thing. So actually call this toggle choice. And let's say if local storage get item items doesn't equal null. Check if the item's already in the array. If the item's not in the array, add it, else remove. Set, else create an array, add, yep. So, now I don't actually want this to be called items. This would be like summoner items. Yeah, no, this wouldn't be summoner items because this is just right. So if local storage get item this dot route dot name items isn't null. Parse route. Set the item. Check mark the box. Data ID. I guess I should pass through event. The target checked. Uncheck the box. Perfect. Take this. Okay. Console.log. Local storage for summoner items. So no. It's no. Okay. So what'll happen is it'll create storage space when I click. So I select this. It's gonna say it is null. And now when I choose imp staff, it's gonna say it's not null. So now what I want to do is when it's mounted, I want to check if there's local storage for the current route. So it would be not that. Local storage. Is it capital? It is capital. Local storage dot get item this. Oh my god. Parse it, rip through, check if the IDs match, check the key. Can check the key. This data key. Check if the IDs match. Key in local data. Okay, let me start here. Let me get rid of all this. Console.log. Local storage.get item. This route names item. Okay. So here's my. I want to actually parse it. So JSON parse. Like this. I have an array. Weapons checked. So what I want to do is get the local storage and loop through it. Checkbox with the same ID. I suppose I could give the checkbox an ID of item.id. Checkbox check true. So this should, yep, so when refresh it checks the boxes. Okay, so that's pretty easy. So then if I take imp staff off, it's done. All right, so a lot of this was done through Copilot. Honestly, I could have figured it out myself, but I saved time, so that's great. So just to break down what's happening currently at this stage. So load content. Actually, let's start from top. So data, the route is just the page route gained from Vue-Router. So in this case, it's the style route has all of the data from the path of summoner, name summoner, the component that's loaded, and anything related to it, if it has a hash or whatever. In this case, it doesn't. So data is the imported data from the JSON, and the route, the data being chosen is this route.name. So in this case, the route name is summoner. So it looks in data, my data JSON, and it looks for summoner. So if it finds it, it uses it, and it loads it whenever, or I can choose to use it whenever. So I'm using it to loop through for the labels for the T body content. So I have 3 body contents at the moment because there's weapons, armor, and accessories. So it's making 3, and it's using the name of that content for a label. I'm then looping through the data of the chosen data from the JSON, and I'm creating it as like data cells with the name and a checkbox. So when you click on a checkbox, toggle choice happens, but we'll get to that. So this can be removed. So let's start from here. So what's happening is it's checking if local storage, if there's something in local storage called this route name items. So in this case, it's summoner items, and I don't need the console log. So if it exists, it parses it into JSON, so JavaScript oriented notation format, which is just exactly how this is set up. So it's just a bunch of objects and arrays and strings and simple text-based content. And for each item in the local storage array, it gets the checkbox, or looks for a checkbox with the same ID. So the ID would be the item ID. So in this case, it's weapon 1 for the first weapon, weapon 2 is the second weapon, and it checkmarks that box. So load content. So prevent default is to prevent the page from potentially refreshing or loading a different page because the page is an anchor link, or the link is an anchor link, so it can send anywhere. It won't because there's the href is set to a hashtag, so it'll just do nothing on the page pretty much, but just in case. So we're grabbing the name from the clicked link. So the inner text is item.name. So in this case, I chose the first one, it's Finch staff. And it's replacing any spaces with underscores. Again, don't need a console. And once it's replaced the spaces with underscores, it looks for the iframe, and it sets the SRC, so the link to Terraria Fandom Wiki, which is a base link, slash the name. So in this case, it's Finch underscore staff. And when it does that, it'll be tough to see, but when it does that, I click Finch staff, and there's my words Finch staff. And if there's no space, then it doesn't matter. So filter content, when the filters are clicked here, so these button filters. So what's happening is it's taking the inner text of the button and then grabbing all instances of table content. So this looped stuff here, this T-body loop. And for each of them, it's checking if it contains if it contains the class of table content dash label. So I defined this earlier, or yesterday for me, but whenever you're watching, it could be earlier, last week, whatever. Table content label is the same as the name of the label here. So the label is weapons, the label is armor, the label is accessories. So because these have the same name, weapons, armor, and accessories, it's essentially just comparing and hiding everything else except for the clicked filter. So pretty simple. And then filter content all just reveals everything. So toggle choice. So again, I kind of figured this out. I have done it before, so it just saves time to let Copilot do it for me. So we get the clicked item, so choices item. So we get the total, like the whole item that's being sent when you click on the checkbox. So what's happening first is it checks if route name items exists, like earlier. If it doesn't exist, then it continues its logic. So console log. So it gets the items that are currently in the items array. So in this case, summoner items array, and it parses the data like earlier. It checks within the items array if the clicked item exists based on the ID. So if the ID of weapon 1 exists on an item and choice ID is and it's the same as the clicked checkbox. It sets the variable, so it looks for it in the array. If it doesn't exist, then it pushes to the array and it marks the check as true. And if it does exist, it unchecks the box and it removes the item from the array. Then it resets the local storage with the new item added or removed. And if item storage doesn't exist, then it creates the array. And then it pushes the new item to the array. So just to make sure that this all works again. So if I check mark everything and I refresh, hard refresh works. If I hard refresh works, refresh works. I do this and then maybe there. Okay, great. So now I want to have an implementation with Vuex here. So the next plan, or the plan now, is to only get the amount of items from. I only want the length of the array from this. I only want the length of the array, like from the local storage array. So on my home view. Maybe. Yeah, I should. I'll do this on home view. So, mounted. So I actually don't need Vue X for this. So basically, what'll happen is, check check all instances of local storage. Okay. And then let's just console key. Why is mode as a saved thing of local storage? Okay, that's weird. So, so let's do a switch statement of key. So case summoner items. This is pretty much perfect. Default break. So now what should happen, I actually might actually want this to be a computed property. I definitely want this to be a computed property because, well, yeah, no, it definitely needs to be computed. So let's do let's see. Summoner items. So I just want, if it exists, return like so all summoner items. Else return 0. So I don't need this. I'll do all summoner items. Key is not assigned because I'm not using this anymore. So item count is still 0. Now is this actually updating? No. Summon items was accessed during the render, but never used. Okay. And is this really not updating? That's very strange to me that this isn't updating. All summoner items. Okay, now it just totally broke. This set summoner items is undefined. This set summoner items is null. Yes, I know. I'm so confused. All summoner items. It should be returning the length. Like it unless it's set to 0. It's set to 0. No, it's 2. Okay. So that's just me messing up. So now it should be 2 still. Yeah. Okay. So let's just go ahead and do this for all of them. So ranged mage, and I'll leave bosses for now. So all melee, all ranged mage. So it should show up 0002. 0002. Great. And I'll do this for right now. So instead of all summoner items, I'll do obtained, and I'll do all summoner items here. So so let's do so obtained obtained. Okay, so let's do import from that. All summoner items data dot. I think this is just going to be 3 or nothing apparently. Data. It's not defined. How did I do it in here? Data. Well, it would. Okay. I don't know why it didn't. Oh, just set this to 0 and do the same thing here. So all summoner items. Summoner items is data summoner dot weapons dot length armor accessories. It's a pretty bad way to do it, but does work. So now if I add a thing of armor, call this armor 1. Yep, it works. Wrong page. So again, this is a pretty bad way to do it. I'm sure that there's a way that I could like have it pretty dynamic, but it's only gonna be these few. No, it's this probably won't work, but try this. Oh, that does work. Okay, this is a really messy way to do it, though. I'd prefer not to add all of it together. But also it does beat having to compute it every time. So I'm just gonna... Oops. Just do it like this. Now, if this gets to a point where I choose to add more to it, such as alias identified, such as adding buffs or anything else, then and it gets to a point where it's like super long, then I'll find a better way to do this. But for now, this will be fine. I know weapons is weapons, armor accessories, same thing, same thing. Melee armor is undefined because I did not spell it the Canadian way. So now this show up as not 28. Oh. Okay. This is mage items. This is ranged items. Melee items. So it should all be 00025. Cool. So I could do this through state management, but the reason I'm not going to is because this is the only instance really where I'm going to have the use of state management. Now, I could track the total of everything on the individual page itself. But currently that's not a plan. I don't have a plan to do that just yet. So, not too worried about that. So, for now, I think that's it really for item sort of setup. A lot of it is now just going to be like me putting in a lot of the data, which I won't do on video because that's no fun. And I do need to do the bosses route. So I I know I could definitely reuse this for the bosses. So if I go in and I say bosses, so let me think here. Tracker view. So yes, this is where having this will be different. So maybe I won't actually. I would love to reuse this. I can actually probably reuse this portion, set this as a component. Probably the best thing to do. So let's say I take this out and I do table component. Of course, import. I do components. And I make the table component of view. Oops. View. Bring everything back. So what would need to happen is I would need to pass through the data. So I think I can just pass through, I only need to pass through the regular data, like the data thing. So if I do data equals data, like this should work. And then have this as, this is props data. Okay, so if I go in here, fantastic, it all works as expected. So now what I can then do is create a different page for bosses if I want to. Set up, like it's just the filters actually. It's in reality it is just these that are the problem. So like if I do bosses and inside I do let me think here. So let me think. I'm trying to think of a way to describe these that aren't because I've now set this up in a way where it needs to be accessed through an array. So I suppose what I could do is just do like all bosses. Oops. All bosses. And then inside I do ID boss1 name Eye of Cthulhu stage pre-hard mode. So if I save, and I set the route, path bosses name component checker view, excuse me. So if I click this, yeah, so item name, that needs to change. So maybe instead I just call it like, just call it name. I just do that instead. Bosses items. Ooh, okay, that definitely can't be. It's fine, just to have it like that. Boss content. This doesn't need to be. Okay. So if I click on Eye of Cthulhu, it should work exactly the same as. Did not work. Add class setup. Okay, what is going wrong here? Load content is undefined. Oh, right. So I need to emit this. So at load content. Simple. And then at click. I don't remember the syntax for emit. Vue.js emit. On events. At click emit some event. At click emit. Load content. Now I can pass the data. This load content. Does this work? I don't think this is gonna work the way I think it's gonna. I'll try it anyways. If I click something refreshed. Ah, it did work. Okay, great. And then if I go back to Summoner, I click Finch Staff, scroll down, fantastic. Wow, so I don't know if I actually need the event emit. I think I do. I will leave it just because I know that works. So, but yeah, so componentizing. So I could do the same thing here, where I just component these, which I really should do, because otherwise the boss's filters are gonna be all armor, weapons, accessories. So let's try that. So actually, you know what? I'll do something different. Let's wrap this in a. Let's do this. B-if. Oops. Route.name doesn't equal bosses. And then, so because this does equal bosses, this isn't showing up. But if I go here, perfect. And then I want to v-else if. Now I could just do this as just a v-else, but I'd like to make sure that this works. Filter content, event. So let me think here. So filter content event is, it takes the table content and it filters. So what I could instead do is I could sort the bosses into pre-hard mode. So I could do pre-hard mode, call it like that. Then if I go back, I get pre-hard mode. Then I do hard mode. Creator of Worlds is not a pre-hard or hard mode boss, but let me think. Eater, Skeletron, King Slime, Deerclops, All Flash, Queen Bee, 7. I'll just look it up. Terraria, all pre-hard mode bosses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was off by 1. Oh, brain, that's right. That was really close. So 8. So if I just call this boss 9. Okay. So now what should happen is it should show up as hard mode. I click this. I just want to make sure that this works. So it should be 1 out of 2. It's 0 out of 28 because it's not set up like that just yet. So maybe I should do that. So I'll just set these filters really quick. Go back to home view. Bosses killed to data. Pre hard mode. What am I doing? No, this isn't what I want. I want this to be bosses. Hard mode. Oops. Dot length. Data hard mode length. Plus, it's not post a moon lord, but it's event. So bosses. Boss killed. Get item bosses. Parse. Okay. Pre-hard mode is undefined, so that would be because of this. Hard mode. Event. Wouldn't be 13. So Moonlord is the last regular boss, so it's a 9 plus 10, 11. Well, it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Add a new boss? Oh my god. Is this a mobile boss? This is new, right? I didn't. 144. Sorry, I'm just so confused right now. This is labor love. Okay, yeah. All right. I didn't know that was a thing. Okay. Strange. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 21 would be dark mage. And it does show up. Okay. So if I refresh, pre-hard mode is undefined. It's right here. Data bosses dot read pre hard mode data bosses dot hard mode data bosses dot event. Oops. So if I check mark and go back, it's not gonna count it. I'm gonna actually wipe the current bosses local storage. Log all local storage. Just summon items. Okay. So if I go in, select one, select I have Cthulhu. Toggle choice is not a function. Yes, so this needs to emit as well. So emit toggle choice. Is that really the right? I click. Something feels like wrong about this. Oh. Okay. I click emit. It's like this. Will this work? And then one at toggle choice. Okay, let's try this. This one. I select. All choice is not a function. Toggle choice is not a function. It's right here. So it must be the way that I'm passing this stuff through. So let's try like that. There we go. It's still 0 out of 3. And it's because I haven't computed bosses killed properly is what my guess would be. So it's, let me just look at everything. So actually, let me check the, so it's doing bosses items. I see, because it's adding items to it. Okay, that's fine. Um, it shouldn't matter that much, albeit kinda not great. Uh, 1 out of 3, and 3 out of 3, 2 out of 3. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, that's okay. I just need to remember that it's items. Um, yeah, that's fine. It's just a little weird, but that's okay. So what's happening now is it's using the same components. Oh, right, the filters. So now, what I should be able to do actually is take this and do pre hard mode and hard mode. So this should just filter fantastic, and then do the same thing as event for event. Sorry, great. Now I could just make this a component as well, and like just v4 the buttons, based on the data from the JSON, but I don't want to do that. And I think using more aspects of views is a good thing, because the filters really don't matter in terms of like SEO or anything, and not to mention like I'm not really doing this for like spreading it really. I'm just doing this for myself and friends, and if anyone else ends up using it, then great. But so I think that's it for a lot of the major stuff. So if I check this, yep, 0 to 3. If I do this, should say 3 out of 3. Great. 1 out of 3. Okay. And because it's text data, now I feel like I could probably um I could probably get all of the things out of one local storage, but I think that's a future like polishing up thing. Like I could separate them into arrays inside of the local storage, or not even arrays, just different like variables. But oh no, it would be different arrays, because it would be the arrays of the melee items and the range and mage and summoner items, and then I would just get the length of those arrays as a master list. But for now, this is okay because it works. So that's how I'll do it. So I think that's it really for most of the super logic-y stuff. I do need a nav probably, um, or at least a back button, which I'll just add right now. Uh, you know what? I'll, because this is history mode, I'll actually do the nav separately. Do it next time, and I'll combine it with like a styling. Uh, so like, cause I want to do a like a back button, like a back to the previous page that you were on. So if you, I don't know, you go to melee and you were previously on summoner, then you can go back to summoner for whatever reason. Just because I like that. It's fun to do. Uh, and ultimately that's why I'm doing this, because it's fun. So yeah, I mean the effectively all of the same. Let me pull this up in Chrome because it actually have like good styling for like effects and stuff. Well, effects isn't like clicks and whatever. Um, so like the functionalities, you click on it, it loads the wiki, which mine does, the new one does. You check mark the box. If you refresh, it stays stage checked, which it does. Stage, the filters work. That's fine. I don't have an all filter, which is pretty bad. No master list. Probably not going to do that because there's something like 400 items, I think, or 600 or something. So maybe not just yet. Yeah, next is just styling it. But in my free time, I will just add the data myself because that's really boring to watch. But yeah, so next time I do a video, it'll be on styling it and adding the nav. And it'll pretty much look the exact same as this, just with no lavender background probably. And maybe smaller boxes. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do rows of 2 instead because I have more than 3. I have 5, so I guess it'd be rows of 2 and a 1. But I'll figure it out. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, you can like. If you really enjoyed, you can subscribe, and if you want to tell me what I should work on next as a project, or if you can think of anything to add to this, then let me know. And of course, when this is finished, I will be updating every video with the hosted link, and you can use it if you choose to. If not, whatever. If you don't play Terraria, or you're just not interested in a tracker like this, that's up to you. So yeah, thanks so much. See you.